Hey, what's up, guys? It's Raven here, and I have a replay cast for you today. We're doing a 3v3 on Paddy Field with Captain John, Red Raptor, and Camran AZE as Blue 4, playing Blue Dragon, US, and Eurocore, if I remember, and then myself, Charlemagne, and Khan SGF playing all USSR decks. So, like I said, this is Paddy Fields. I rather like this map. It's probably one of the better maps in Red Dragon, which maybe isn't saying much, but I do enjoy it. It's got kind of an interesting mix of forest fighting, city fighting, open fields, and all that stuff. I will say I think it's a little imbalanced because certainly from our side, I would prefer to be on the other side. But on the Red 4 side, in the middle, you have Lima here, which is this tiny little forest that fits very well inside of an aiming reticle of an artillery piece. Very hard to hold Lima, and you might say that in compensation for that, Red 4 gets this kind of tree line here to help defend Hotel, and that's true. But Hotel's only worth 1 point, and it's not really worth fighting over because you can see here, India and Bravo. It's actually fairly easy to push into the enemy's 2 point zone, either into India or into Bravo, and then neutralize or even capture it. And if you do that, then what good does Hotel do you? It's only 1 point. And you see both teams are kind of ascribing to that mentality. We have Khan on the right going to Lima and Hotel. You see pings zero point 0.5 me, zero point 0.5 me. And Blue 4 does the same with John going to Hotel and Echo. So both teams have one player for this whole half of the map, and then both teams are going two on this side at India and at Bravo. And you almost have to if the other team's going to do that, because say we only sent one player to India and Blue had two coming from Bravo, then that player at India might get pushed back and overwhelmed 2v1 and lose his zone. And then it's really hard to get them out of there if they get well established, and all we have to show for it is one player in Hotel with this zone firmly controlled. And if you do that, it's hard to like flank into Echo or Delta, for example, because then you're showing your side armor to an enemy's air spawn as it comes out of Foxtrot. And vice versa for Blue 4 too. It's really hard to get into Lima and Mike if you have planes coming from Oscar to shoot you in the back. So that would be my main criticism with the design of this map. Is not enough cover at Hotel, and these areas are probably worth too many points, and Hotel should be the 2 point zone almost. But anyways, just because of that, we're going 2-2 on the Bravo India side, and that's probably going to be where most of the action is, because both of the players on this side are going to be a little defensive. They don't want to lose their collective zones by overreaching. They really want to let the battle be decided here at India and Bravo, and I think that's mainly what happens. I'd like the game to start so I can talk about the deployment, so maybe speed it up a little bit. It should start in a second. So I think it's the Blue Dragon and the American deck here on the left against two USSR decks. The first thing I notice about the Blue 4 start is that they actually have a fair amount of helicopters. They have two ninjas, which are Japanese recon helicopters, 90 points, and then two of them that makes 180 points. They have a DAP, which is an American AA helicopter, that's 60 points on top of 180, makes 240. Sorry for this quick math, it might be hard to follow just watching, but please bear with me. And then that 55-point Cobra on top of that 240 makes 300 points. So Blue 4 has about 300 points in the air in helicopters here at Alpha. A lot of them are AA capable, and that's not a bad idea, because remember, they're trying to rush into India, we're trying to rush into Bravo. It probably pays off to stop an air assault that might be coming in. Now, for our part, we don't have any helicopters except for this recon helicopter. Now, why is that? Well, it's because mainly Red 4 AA helicopters are garbage. You're paying 100 points for a air-to-air hind that'll lose to their 60-point DAP over here. So it's just, we made the decision it wasn't worth trying to contest the early airspace with helicopters because we knew we'd probably lose. Especially when they have a Eurocore which has Celtics, although he didn't go over here. We are attacking with, as a result, a lot more stuff on the ground than Blue 4 has, just because we don't have any points invested in air, really. You see we've got a lot of tanks, some kind of mechanized infantry, BTR 90s with GRU, AA, even have a Buratino. So we're pretty ready to fight out on the ground, and Blue Force not quite committed to an all-in ground attack. They have they have some tanks. They have K1s, they have M1A1 Abrams, but nothing really heavy. We have two T-72 BUs across them, and they don't have anything in that weight category. But, you know, they're going to try and make up for it another way, and we'll get to that in a second. And again, we have one player that's kind of split between Hotel and Echo, so he's sending some stuff up from this direction to get into Hotel, some stuff going up this way, and it's kind of the same thing with the Blue Force side. You see, I actually send my tanks around up this bridge, up this way, just because I don't want everything going up this one road here to get bombed or napalmed, which often happens. In fact, it may just happen in a second here. And that helped us out a little bit because we anticipated there might be some air attack here, and we were able to somewhat nullify it by sending stuff around the side. You see, here's mine and Charlemagne's BTR-90s with Spetsnaz GRU going up into India. They're a really great unit. I really like the BTR-90s, but unfortunately there was just too much stuff here. This Cobra was able to eliminate us. Let's see, they got... Look to their view. They can't see most of our stuff yet, but once it gets over this ridge, these ninjas will be able to see it really easily. And they'll have their Thunderbolt and their Nighthawk, which together are about 300 points. Remember I said earlier Blue 4 had 400 points in the air. Now between this Thunderbolt, this Nighthawk, this F1, it's almost 800 points in the air. That, and then these two players have a FOB, they have CVs. Blue 4 has about 1,000 points or more in the air right now between helicopters and planes, and then back at base, and only 1,000 on the ground because it's 1,000 starting points per player. This is in contrast to us in Red 4. We only have 40 points in the air with a 1 recon helicopter. So we have a much, much stronger ground force than they do. And Blue 4's strategy here is really to kind of do as much damage as they possibly can with their planes to neutralize us, neutralize our ground forces, and kill as many as they can. You see they did a Nighthawk, but we were kind of trying to get stuff off the road, so he didn't kill my Buratino or my Tunguska, but he did really fuck us up there. This is really dangerous right now. See here my tanks coming up the ridge, flanking in, but Blue 4 has a lot of tanks, and this is pretty dangerous for me too, even though I have a BU, but thankfully Khan, who wasn't in TeamSpeak with us by the way, so major props for him, to notice this and help out with his own Buratino, because mine's panicked. He can't do anything right now. But Khan fires a Buratino into this tank blob. Really messes it up for me. Here's Blue 4 with a Strikeo. That's another 160 points. You know, they really have just all these points in planes trying to just really bomb us out before the fight even begins. So that's not an all-in strategy, but it's a pretty front-loaded strategy. And I think that, and there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. It's just, if that doesn't work and they don't do enough damage and they don't get established in India, they're going to really hurt for it. And again, here's my tanks. They have a huge advantage now that all of this stuff was stunned by the Buratino. Can really clean up a lot of this stuff. Although here comes a ATGM Peace Pheasant for my BU. He doesn't quite get it though. He fires... Let me zoom in on this a little bit. 1, 2... 2 missiles hit, the BU's at 1 life, and he survives. Another Buratino kind of cleaning up a little bit. We actually were very fortunate here in that we preserved most of our core units, including our heavy tanks, including our AA, our Buratino, and enough infantry to really counterattack. So just in terms of Blue's strategy, I think it was a little bit of a failure. They didn't quite succeed in doing what they needed to do to make their strategy worth it. Again, here comes their Thunderbolt and their Peace Pheasant. I just want to point out here, by the way, that we're kind of pushing Blue 4 back now. We have a really strong counteroffensive, a good mix of units left, and they lost most of their tanks, they lost most of their infantry. Blue 4's response is to buy more planes. They buy a Peace Pheasant, they buy a Thunderbolt. And in contrast, on Red 4, we have Tunguskas coming up the road, we have infantry and BTR-90s. So we have this stream of reinforcements coming in along the ground, and Blue 4 doesn't. They're just buying more planes, and I think that's a bit of a mistake. They really need to get stuff in here coming down the road, get that constant stream of reinforcements going, and they just haven't done it yet. they're still in the plane mentality, and I think that was definitely a mistake on their part. They should have shifted strategies a little bit quicker. Because look, they only have these crappy quad Browning trucks, some recon, and a few Mistral teams in front of us. So then, I mean, they really kind of lost it there, I think. And so now we're pushing forward. Of course, this Thunderbolt's got something. We might get that Thunder, maybe not. But yeah, so now we're pushing back. Although he does have this recon squad in there that's going to be really hard to get out. See, Blue 4 is kind of deploying infantry now. Finally, they're trying to reinforce Bravo. You see a little probing here in the middle and the right, but nothing too serious. There's really not much room to make advances here, I don't think, because it's only one player against one player. So here comes the Blue 4 pain train again. Really, the onus is on us right now to push, because we definitely won that opening engagement, I think, but here I got my PU going after a Thunderbolt. I think I get him. Yep, I get him on the evac. We trade very positively in planes too, just because Blue 4 was using so many of them, and we didn't go quite so heavy into them. But right now we're consolidating India. We should be pushing, but we're not, just because Blue 4 is able to really leverage their planes and kind of keep us back, picking off tanks, picking off AA, picking off infantry. I think this F1 was going for my BU, but I retreated him, so now he goes away. He doesn't want to risk it, trying to go after blind fire into a force to get a BU. But yeah, so here's my BTR-90s. This Blue 4 is about to get him with this Nighthawk here, and this was like our offensive force. This was the guys that could push into Bravo, and he's going to get both of them with that Nighthawk. So, like I said, Blue 4 does a really good job recovering here from what was... It was a scary start for us, but I think in the end they lost the start, and now they're getting the stuff they need to hold us back, keeping us away with the planes, and they're recovering very effectively here, so I give them props for that. There's a MiG-27 killing a Leopard 2, or I mean a Leclerc. MiG-27s are kind of bullshit, by the way. But anyways, Blue's pushing into Lima here. This is actually a kind of a nice little assault. It's not supported by a tank, but then it almost doesn't need to be, just because Red's only holding this with a really scratch force, and you almost have to do that because there's not much cover. So Blue's doing a really good job pushing here, and he's distracting Khan because Khan doesn't see this pirate coming through here on the side. Big flaw in our deployment is we didn't have an AA piece on this third of the map at all, so they're getting this recon chopper, they're getting this pirate through. Blue's really probing us, and of course we see this and we put markers down. Oh no, get it. Khan spawns in a recon BRDM, Charlemagne calls in an Mi-24, I think I call in one as well, and then I also have a Su-27 PU come in. So we're really responding to this here. They have a 25-point pirate and a 40-point recon chopper. With those 65 points, they've made us spend about 235 points trying to hunt these down, because we're saying, oh no, don't get our CVs, don't kill 2 CVs, don't set us back like don't set us back a lot by killing those CVs. He started shooting at that, but we got it just in time. But again, for 65 points, they were able to make us spend 235 points to buy this stuff to counter that. Definitely a great trade for Blue 4 there. You see, we're kind of skirmishing in here. We're trying to get these damn Tukjionsa out of there, but we're just having a lot of trouble because he's microing them between the blocks. They're elite. They're good. Here I'm firing my Buratino that's finally recovered from being panicked and almost killed earlier, aptly named Ivan. All I was trying to do there was kind of block them off and give us some breathing room to finish consolidating India. I shouldn't have fired all 30 of those rockets, but it is what it is. And of course we got strike yield out and lost our guys in there. So of course Khan here has moved in to reoccupy Lima after that push from Blue. I think they could have done a little bit better here and maybe stayed in Lima if they'd been willing to weaken their Echo forces a bit, but again, it's really hard to make gains here, and I almost don't blame them because both players are just trying to be defensive here and hold their zones. We do need to get CVs. There we go, we got India, so now we're tied. Blue's a little bit ahead in points, but it's no big deal really. We're just we're just kind of building up. Again, Blue's kind of rebuilding their forces, and I think we have a little bit of a head start on them just because of our stronger ground start and then preserving more units in the beginning. Let's see. Oh, they're trying to Mars our CV in November, but Khan moves it out of the way. A very smart move. These Mars, by the way, are 120 point West German cluster artillery, which they have really low AP, only 6, but they're really annoying because they just this big blob of clusters coming down on you and damaging stuff, and you don't want to keep your tanks in it. So they can be very disruptive even if they don't kill you. And they use those Mars to pretty good effect in a little bit. So right now we on red are kind of planning on how do we... Oh, looks like Blue's actually planning something. They have pings down here. I don't know if they saw that CV or not. They have the ping right on it, so maybe they were aware. But you see they start Marsing, and I think Charlemagne told me to move my CV because it starts getting hit. Well, then again, it's just a little short. It doesn't ever hit me. But yeah, Blue's definitely planning something there. You see Khan's got a BMP-3 to kind of side shot with his missile probably. Just going to set him over here, I think. But yeah, so we're kind of just building up. Blue's building up. We're wanting to push into Bravo. They're probably still wanting to push into India because they know that that's probably their best chance at winning unless they try and redeploy and take Hotel, but that's difficult to do again. So yeah, probably need to speed up a little bit. This is a little bit of a lull. I do want to point out that Red 4 right now has at least 2 super heavies on the field right now on this side. They have 2 T-72 BUs, a lot of lighter T-72s. Blue only has 1 M1A2 Abram. I think they probably didn't have the points to buy their Q Marus and their other pricey Abrams just because they were trying to recover so much from earlier, so they had to buy cheaper tanks and buy infantry. And that's definitely a big disadvantage for them in a second here when we push forward with our heavy tanks, because I don't think they have a really proper counter to it. Here we are probing a little bit, just VDV going through, seeing if we can pick anything off with our Vampires. ATGM plane, I think, probably lost sight of whatever he was going for and then got killed. Here I am trying to mortar the Abrams, but I missed it. Oh, well, I actually stunned it and made it shaken. So I was trying to suppress the Abrams because we knew when Abrams was there. I fired my Vasilix at it. And getting really close to... There's Charlemagne ping. I think he's going to Buratino there in a second. There it is. It's aiming. So if we're red 4 right now, we see the beginnings of an attack, right? They got 4 infantry squads. They got a lot of supporting units back here. So we're going to Buratino this. I want to point out, Charlemagne only fired half that Buratino's complement. He's fired 16 out of 30. That's really all you need. We're just trying to stun those units right there so we can stun them and then kill them, basically. We don't need all the Buratino to do that. Here I am also laying down smoke to cover our advance. Here's 2 T-90s and then a third over there for 3 super heavies. I would say Blue probably should have had more stuff in this side of the ridge and less over here to have a more complete field of fire. They only have 1 M1A2 in the Bradley, which we kill here. The smoke does cover our advance, though. Here's the VDV, just going across open ground, really. Another Buratino. This is just to cover the back. If anything's trying to reinforce, we're trying to stun the counterattack while we push up. And yeah, here's our just infantry going through. Peace Pheasant with ATGM coming in. Probably going to go for that BU if he can, but he might lose sight of it. Yeah, I think he lost sight of it between the smoke and the fire. So yeah, here's the VDV. Our ally Khan is smirching right now, which is really helpful. Just kind of clearing the stuff out, stunning, panicking, everything. But the VDV break the smoke right at their RPG range, basically. So the M1A2 is forced to retreat as a result, or else stand here and get shot by 4 angry VDV. Plus he's getting smirched, obviously, so he doesn't want to be in there. So we're doing a really good job pushing into this corner of the zone. We're pushing into this corner as well. Attackums kills a T-72 BU, unfortunately. And yeah, we're definitely making progress, although we were a little late getting our AA to the front because they have a Cobra and a Thunderbolt harassing us. We should have had our Tunguska's more up. That was a miss micro on our part. More Buratino. That one was from me, I think. Let's see, where is it? Yeah, there it is. Look at this. See, I have 10 out of 30 of my Buratino shells left, and that's because I'm firing them in tens. If you have two Buratinos on the field like we do, and each has 30 shells, and you fire them 10 at a time, that means 60 shells in total divided by 10 equals 6 volleys. So 6 volleys of Buratino is just used sporadically to stun the enemy is really, really good. It's very effective. I would say probably a bit overpowered. I think the Buratino is a little bit bullshit, to be honest. But yeah, so we're really abusing the Buratino here. We're keeping everything they have stunned whenever we see something, a concentration of units. Here is, this is important to point out, is for some reason the enemy's M1A2 is reversing towards our VDV. He sees them, turns, and gets vampired. I'm sure probably the owner of that meant to use Q for attack move and he hit G on accident or something. Just very, very unlucky for Blue 4. One of those kind of freak occurrences that can sometimes happen. You see they ping, they have a Mars incoming because they're trying to keep us out of here and just get some breathing room and get some space that they can consolidate their position and maybe counterattack. But it's going to be really hard to do because we're making great progress here. They are going to push my... That might be... Yeah, it's my BU out. They're going to push that out. We're having a little trouble holding on just because of... I mean, their air corridor, their reinforcement point is just right here. They have like 2 kilometers to go before they're in the battlefield, and we're coming from like way back here. So it's easy to neutralize Bravo usually, but it's really hard to just secure it because you're just so close to the enemy's air corridor and their ground spawn. You see the Eurocorps players starting to deploy units over here to help them as well. Although our Charlemagne tried to get a CV in hotel. It looks like it's getting artillery, but we're generally doing better over here too in that we have a stronger control of hotel. Here's Blue trying to kind of neutralize that a little bit, but without much effect. I think they'd actually be better off pushing into Bravo from this side up the tree line here to flank us. They just don't really have the forces for that. You see we get a T-72 command vehicle into that zone. 2 top R makes it very durable, able to survive shelling and bombings, but unfortunately it's not enough to survive a Nighthawk, as you'll see here. He got a command tank and the Tunguska. So now we have a T-80UM, T-72BU. We just have all these heavy tanks up here, and Blue doesn't really have a good answer to them right now. They're doing the best they can with kind of medium Korean tanks, infantry swarming in. But yeah, we're pretty secure here at this point. As you can see, there's only 4 minutes left in the game, so you can probably guess how it ends. Here, Blue 4 kind of tries some Cassiopes around the side. This is a little bit of a desperation move. They're going to try and go around and get a CV, but we had an OSA over here, and it mops them up pretty well, I think. Plus a Tunguska helping. Get some extra CVs in. We're probably pretty secure now. A little faster, maybe. Again, Blue's making kind of localized gains, but it's just not enough. It's a little too late, I think, and it's easy to counterattack and kill the stuff sneaking through there. Khan is smirching over there. They're trying to Mars or attack him or something. Looks like they're Marsing, trying to get our CV out of there. But we're doing a nice little push here. Smoke to screen the VDV as they push up. Even though that one squad got melted by that mortar. I will say the smoke didn't go quite far enough because this VDV gets caught by grenade launchers. But he gets into the building. That's... Yeah, so I mean we almost have all of Bravo now, which is a pretty good accomplishment. We had a really good little attack here. And obviously we're going to win the game, so we were able to not even neutralize, but capture Bravo, because they don't have a CV. We're able to hem them in a close enough corner that we can consistently kill their CVs when they bring them in, and as a result, we're up 4 and gaining points rapidly to our 500 command point victory that we need. So, I guess just recapping here, I want to. The salient points of this replay is that Blue 4 really invested a lot in air power, and they had a pretty scary start from the standpoint of Red 4. You know, we lost a lot of units, we were getting bombed, it was very tense, very close cut, but we were able to preserve enough of our units to then take advantage of Blue 4's weakness on the ground, and in the end push them into their 2-point zone and take it. And so that was a pretty, I was proud of that game. I had a lot of fun. You can see here Charlemagne had a lot of points. He had even better than a 2-to-1 KD ratio because Charlemagne had most of the AA. He had the books, he had most of the Tunguskas. He got a lot of kills, killing planes and helicopters because, like I said, Blue 4 was using those units a lot, the air units, and I think that probably using it a little too much, and as a result, Charlemagne got a lot of points. I was actually a little bit negative just because, you know, you're pushing into a zone, you're losing a lot of units. But overall, it was a pretty good game. I really enjoyed it. Had a lot of fun, and I hope it was good gameplay for you guys to watch. Obviously, I like casting my own replays just because I was there and I have insight into what was happening. You know, I was there, I was part of the game. I knew the battle plan from our point of view. But that said, if anybody wants to maybe send me your own replays or anything like that, I'd definitely be happy to take a look and see what, maybe I could cast it, or maybe I could just look at it and give some advice. If you want to do that, then just leave a comment in the video with some kind of download link, and I'll take a look at those. Speaking of comments, I do love little love notes and messages in the comments section, so please leave those, and if not, then at least like and subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed. I think that's about all I have for today. I don't want the video to get too long, so as always, thank you for watching, and take care, guys. See you next time.